What happens there? We are pleased to welcome Representative Becky Currie into the Element Wealth Studio. She serves as a representative for District 92, which includes Copiah, Lawrence, and Lincoln counties. Don't really know about committee assignments at this point, right? We start that all over again, but good to see you. Happy New Year. Welcome to the program there, Representative Currie.
Thank you. Happy New Year. It's so good to be here.
Well, and good to see you yesterday and last night. I thought it was really a good day down there at the Capitol in the House of Representatives. Those are kind of fun times with the various ceremonies. Folks bring their families in for their swearing in. That was good. I enjoyed that.
It was good, and I'm glad to see the new 25 members that we have in the House.
25.
And it's a few more women, which I like. So it's fun because I remember being sworn in my first time, how exciting that is, and now you get to be a part of the process, and here we go. And we're starting with a new speaker. I'm excited, have no idea what committees I'm going to serve on or what I'm going to be doing, but it's just all kind of new and different this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. You could just feel it's a little different, but you would expect that because no two people are the same. But I think we've been so accustomed for a long time with former Speaker of the House, Philip Gunn, that just kind of having a change there is kind of unique.
It is. I really liked Speaker White's speech yesterday. I thought he hit some of the big topics without being nervous about it, and he hit them head on, and I liked all of them. So I'm looking forward to this session and this term.
So he hit on a number of the key topics that I'm sure that our legislature is going to address. Let's take a look at those. He talked about workforce development, of course, which he felt is critical to growing the economy of the state of Mississippi. He said that Mississippians feel like that we need a better trained workforce to do that. He hears it, as do I, from prospective employers or folks looking to perhaps locate and set up shop in the state. So I think that's certainly on target. He talked about infrastructure. He said, quote, Mississippians like seeing their money go back to spending on infrastructure. This will help attract a better business environment. So, those are key issues. Of course, then we got the subject of education and the possibility of expanding education freedom, education choice here in the state. We've got the challenges with the healthcare environment, something I know that you're pretty close to, is that's your profession. Of course, we got PERS. You know what I feel about that and how much I've talked about that. I call it the elephant in the room that we're going to have to do something about. Tax reform is something else on the table. The ballot measure process, of course. These are kind of unfinished business from prior sessions. What are your priorities? What did you make of the speech? What resonated with you? What are you going to focus on?
Well, of course, I love health care and always have, always will. And, just him saying yesterday that he's going to make sure that providers are paid. I know that a lot of people don't realize this, but with our managed care, and I'm going to be really honest with you, we can't do a lot about Medicare, but it starts from Medicare to Mississippi Can with Medicaid, and then you go to Blue Cross, and Blue Cross pays Mississippi the lowest amount than any state in the nation. In
the country. It's the lowest commercial reimbursement in the entire nation.
And we're asking our hospitals to just stay open and give care no matter what, even if you're in the red. And it's not going to continue to work, and we're going to have to do something. Yeah. And, so insurance companies continue to get rich. I'm all for capitalism, That's great, but you have to take care of whom you're supposed to be taking care of. And then when you make a profit, good for you. But you can't take home billions and billions of dollars when our hospitals are struggling. Yeah. And that's where I am on that issue.
Okay. Well, is there any specific legislation that you're thinking about drafting or supporting?
Well, if they do Medicaid expansion, I will tell you, we haven't had a chance to really look at it, so we don't really know how it looks. If Medicaid expansion is there, I would be willing to look at it, but I can also tell you I won't vote on a bill that doesn't say the day the federal government stops, and you and I both know that the federal government's in a mess, and I think they'll stop paying all this money to each state, that it ends, because we will not be able to afford it as a state. So I would just have to say I would want that in the bill.
Okay, sure. So the amount that the state has to contribute under the FMAP structure, basically if the state were to expand Medicaid and the federal government were to, say, reduce their share, which is 90%
exactly.
for Medicaid expansion, that coverage group, the state picks up 10. If that were to change and the federal government reduce, you would. I would
say we can't afford it.
Yeah. Well, and you know as well that the hospitals, of course, have expressed an interest in financially supporting a program as well. If we were to expand Medicaid,
it was approved.
Yeah.
They already are one of the 3 companies that got approval, but political reasons that I won't get into, so I don't get in trouble my first day up here, they hadn't let the contract go.
Yeah, I know. But, what I'm saying is the last I checked into this, the Hospital Association, of course, that's in somewhat of turmoil. But in general, if the state were to expand Medicaid, they were willing to pick up either
absolutely.
most or all of the state's portion.
Of the 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. I went off on a note.
That's fine.
No, I thought you were talking about something else.
No, I'm just talking about the financial aspect of it. So, I mean, they saw that the cost that they would bear to pick up that, to cover that 10%, would be more than offset with not having as many uninsured walking through their door. So
that's right.
Right, and that's a problem. But so I'll share with you something that I've been working on. I've announced it on the air a couple of times. Is a very detailed article, I guess. It's almost turning into a white paper because it's getting kind of long, on healthcare and some what I call out-of-the-box thinking of how to approach the situation in the state of Mississippi. I think we've gotten to the point where, and get your take on this, when we talk about the challenges in the healthcare systems and just the healthcare ecosystem in the state of Mississippi, it almost always boils down to yes or no Medicaid expansion. And we get proponents that say, if we just expanded Medicaid, that fixes everything. And we got folks that oppose Medicaid expansion that say, oh, no, it really won't help. So I think somewhere in the middle is probably the truth.
It always is. Yeah. I have to tell you, the best legislation we've ever passed was when both sides got together and we came up with something in the middle.
Yeah.
But, we have to look at something.
Yeah.
I have too many patients that can't afford insulin.
Yeah.
And they're going to have major problems that we're going to be paying for forever.
Yeah.
So there's something we have to look at to get to the middle.
Yeah. And then, as you know, we unfortunately have an unhealthy population in our state, and that just applies more pressure to the system, and that's a bigger problem. But we're essentially telling our hospitals and our healthcare providers, you got to take care of these people. Well, I can't help you if you're not getting paid for it.
Right.
And that's what's happening now.
Yeah. So sorry.
We got to at least accept that is a problem.
It is a problem.
Yeah.
And, it's been a problem for a long time. It didn't sneak up on us.
That's right. Yeah, I agree. Well, it sounds like the speaker's aware that this is a problem in the state of Mississippi, and I get the impression that he's willing to hear all ideas. And let's get the brain trust together and start talking about the core problems and approaches to resolve those problems. That's the impression I got from his speech yesterday.
One of the things that I do like about him is he does listen.
He does. I agree.
And, he doesn't just look through you. He actually hears and participates in the conversation. Yeah. So, he may not agree with you, but he does hear you.
Yeah, so as I recall back in my B school days, we call that participative management is what it's what it's called, literally.
Right.
So, and I get that impression as well, and I think that's a I think that is a very positive aspect of his personality. I think it's going to serve us well. We got Representative Becky Currie in the Element Well studio coming. Studio, we're talking to Representative Becky Currie, the legislative session on day 2, if we ever get the Capitol clear, because there is a bomb threat, and we're still waiting for the all clear so the members can go back to the Capitol. You told me you got a lot of work to do.
I have a lot of work today. We're having also the swearing in of all of our state officials. So your Lieutenant Governor and Attorney General and Secretary of State on down the line can't go to work because they're not sworn in yet. So just a crazy thing, and it's kind of like this swatting. I hope they find who did it, because I'd like for them to pay this bill. If you saw the Capitol right now, you'd be shocked at the law.
My daughter told me.
Yeah.
She's across the street there,
That's
as you know,
right.
the Garden Building. So, she told me. She said it's crazy.
It's just crazy over there.
Well, all right, let's. What are your thoughts about education freedom? That Jason seems to be, I would say, much more pro something than the former speaker was. Speaker of the House, Philip Gunn, not a huge fan. I think that's a fair way to say it. Of certainly universal school choice. He was not one that I think would jump on that. Jason, as you indicated, is open to talk about virtually anything and explore all ideas if he thinks that they would be in the best interest of the state and its citizens. He seems to be, I think, more favorable towards that. What are you hearing? What do you think about that area?
I think that a lot of schools may hate this idea, but you got to remember something, and I hope they do. There's nothing that is going to injure a school district, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a particular school you want your child to go to is not going to have, 4 new buildings so everybody can go there. But I think more of kids with special needs.
Okay.
If you need your child to go to Canopy, or we have a little school called the Reading Nook in Brookhaven, and your child needs that special needs help, then taxpayers ought to be able to take their
so we
tax
have a special
dollars.
needs scholarship, or ESA. Is that not being utilized to the extent it should, or do we need to make some changes there?
Well, we need to have more money there.
Okay, I got you, because there's
so,
some limits on that.
That's right.
That's right. You're right.
And so, you just want the child that needs the extra help. I'm a big proponent of, if a child is bullied in one school, maybe he would be successful in another school.
Okay.
But I don't believe that we're going to have this mass exodus from public schools.
Right.
But I believe that competition always makes us a little better.
Sure.
And so I believe I also want to say this: your tax dollars need to go where you want them to.
Okay.
Also, what's best for your child.
Yeah.
I don't believe that a lot of private schools are going to want state money.
Right.
Because guess what? That brings in the state.
And they're not compelled to do so. And that's a kind of a myth that a lot of people sort of misunderstand about school choice. Private schools don't have to accept someone, even if they got money.
That's right. And I've talked to a lot of private schools in my area that they just don't want it.
It's a capacity thing, among others.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
They're just not going to magically have all these open seats.
Yeah.
But make your school good, make your school better. I'm lucky I have great schools in my district, but a lot of people don't.
Right. Right. Representative Lee Yancey just texted me and said it's all clear. There's no bomb. Good to go.
Oh,
so
good.
That your
I
colleague,
can go back.
Yeah, we just heard that. The last time I think you were on the program, I asked you a question about taxes and tax reform. I think that's something else that Speaker of the House Jason White wants to address. We stopped short of full elimination of the income tax. And something I've repeated numerous times, I don't know if you know this or not, but I asked you directly, if the choice were between elimination of the income tax or elimination or significant reduction of the sales tax on groceries, you said that you'd vote. You said I'd vote today to eliminate or greatly reduce sales taxes on groceries.
Absolutely, because we have a lot of people, and especially now, I don't know if you do the grocery shopping, but
I do sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
It's tough.
It is. It's expensive.
It's expensive, and people's income didn't go up, but their grocery bill sure did.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people suffer in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, I was behind someone the other day, and they were putting groceries back. It was an elderly person, and I picked up that tab. That doesn't bother me, and it just hurt me that they were having to pick what they were going to put back.
Man.
And,
that's sad.
Some of us are not going to be behind every person that has to go through that.
Okay.
So, groceries are a big deal. Now, I want to eliminate the tax. I do in this state. I think it would bring
Grocery tax you talking about? Or
grocery
sales?
tax or just income tax.
Okay, all right.
I want to do it all.
Okay.
But if I had to pick one today, it would probably be groceries.
Okay. Well, do you see that being a key issue that'll be deliberated?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Okay. Well, that's fascinating. I know we'll be talking to you some more, and I'm sure I'll see you down at the Capitol. It looks like we got the all clear now, according to Representative.
Okay, now I can go to work.
You can go to work. You said you got lots of swearing in and stuff to do today.
We
the
got a
statewide
lot
leaders.
to do. That's right.
All right. Always good to see you. Appreciate you coming in.
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Representative Becky Currie has been our guest here on Middays. We're in the Element Well studio.